You want me to put that on my Tudor?
The Invictus Grift. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I'm going to take you into the mind of Harry's wife. Yes, I know many of you have just involuntarily shuddered at such a thought, but where I'm going to take you is to the narcissism headquarters. This is the part of her brain, shriveled and addled as it might be, where the narcissism resides, that background app that is governing her actions. And in order to understand what's going on, I'd like you to envisage a large room with a boardroom table, and around it are sat various minions. You can picture them how you like, but there are many of them, all sat around the table. At the head of the table, there is the head minion, who calls the meeting to order as chairperson. This chairperson addresses the minions. "Okay," says the chairperson. "Daily briefing. Here's the situation with our narcissist, Harry's wife. Things don't look so good, lads. Popularity is at an all-time low. People really don't like her, which is good for getting some challenge fuel, but unfortunately is causing problems for our brothers in the control centre, isn't that right?" The minions who work in the control centre nod grimly, looking worn out as they're repeatedly thrust into trying to get control for Harry's wife. People just don't like her. We've tried various reinventions, but the public aren't buying it. There's too many of them now who've cottoned on to what she is, and that blasted H.G. Tudor keeps pumping out videos, ensuring that people are informed as to what is governing her behaviour, and more people are switching on to this. Add to that the legion of fact-checkers that are out there, and it's making our job all the more difficult. "What about the A-listers, boss?" cries one of the minions. The chairperson shakes his head. "It's not working. They don't want to know her. She's tried to hang around at a couple of concerts and make it look like she's friends with them, but again, the press have mauled her and the people are just laughing at her. Who on earth was in control of her when she was doing that stupid wasp up the ass dance?" Fingers are all then pointed at a red-faced minion sat towards the back of the room. He looks down, staring at his feet. "See me later," says the chairperson. "No," says the chairperson. "The A-listers, it's not working. What about any news on the resurrection of the Tig?" All eyes turn to a chair, which is empty. "Thought as much," said the chairperson. "Fuck all happening there as well." "Right. Well, there's only one thing for it. As you know, the Invictus Games are upon us, and what we're going to have to do is grift the fuck out of it. So listen up, minions, and this is how we're going to play it. Make her the centre of everything. Ensure that she is seen by all. Let's have her running over to a gaggle of Sussex squad that we'll arrange to be there and talking to them as if they've thrown her a life raft when she's been cast adrift on the Pacific. Okay?" Various nods around the table and murmurs of assent. "Ensure that she elbows her way into any conversation that's taking place. Make sure that she's steering old ginger bollocks around so that she can get in on the conversations." More nodding. "Make it clear that this is all about her. What we'll do is we'll have her turn up late so she has maximum impact, and somebody write a speech for her. Make it something to do with family and milkshakes." A minion frantically scribbles these instructions down. "Okay, now, what else have we got? Well, let's ensure that she upstages the veterans, because at the end of the day, who gives a flying fuck about them? This is all about our girl. This is the Invictus Grift. So, let's have her take the limelight away from them, have her talk about herself at the speech that we're going to make sure that she does when she arrives. Have her march in front of everybody else. We don't care that she's nothing to do with the services. The fact is she needs to be seen. So make sure she steers herself to the front of any parade and that she marches along in front of everybody else. They'll get all bent out of shape about it, but it's all good fuel, and the main thing is that our girl gets noticed. Okay, and finally, ensure as part of all of this that she is regularly seen in the stands, gurning, jiving, doing that strange electrocution dance that she does, and that's bound to be picked up in various videos, and people will be talking about her. A hand then goes up from a minion. What about the merching, though, boss? What about the money? Good point, raises the chairperson. Yes, I'd forgotten to mention the fashion. Let's ensure that there's plenty of fashion. And we can merch and monetize off the back of that. After all, we're not here to show any respect to these people who've lost limbs and maybe have had their mental health affected by showing service in their armed forces. We don't give a rat's ass about that. It's all about Harry's wife and ensuring that our girl is out there controlling people, drinking in the fuel. Ensuring that she garners those character traits, and as you've rightly pointed out, let's merch the fuck out of this opportunity. We don't know how much longer this gig's going to last. She seems to be circling the drain, and it's the downward spiral, but this presents us with a real opportunity to turn things around. Absolutely, murmur the minions in support of this suggestion. This is the big one. We need to make it all about her. We need to hijack every opportunity. We need to ensure that people are always watching her. We need to ensure that she's at the front of everything. Doesn't matter if she looks a bit of a tit while she's doing it. The important thing is that you ensure that she is the one that people are talking about. Get her to walk in front of Harry. He's used to it by now. Sure, he'll scowl like a sulky teenager, but she can just devalue him back at the hotel room by telling him that he's a wanker and saying that he's not going to get any spicy poontang for as long as he sits there with a face like a wet weekend. That'll soon bring him back into line. Remember, let's try and channel a bit of Diana, Princess of Wales, where we can. That keeps Harry interested, and also those comparisons causes some people to go off it at the deep end, which again is all delicious fuel. But the main point of this is that we must ensure that our girl is seen. Get us seen in the outfits. Make sure they're not ironed. That gains greater prominence as well. So you, the chairperson points at a particular minion, your job is to ensure that she forgets to utilise the iron and that she has no recourse to any kind of stylist. Will do, boss, reports the minion. I think that covers everything. Let's get out there and grift the shit out of this event. Let's turn it into the 2023 Harry's Wife Games. And that, essentially, is what came to pass, that although her narcissism doesn't have a voice, if it did, and it was represented by a chairperson and a number of minions, they will have all met at the outset and decided that each and every opportunity that came along would be utilised for ensuring that she was prominent. In each moment that arose, she would be seeking that control and drawing fuel. She, of course, didn't sit down and think, I'm going to make this all about me. She isn't that calculated, despite what people think. What happens is, on a moment-by-moment basis, in the pursuit of the prime aims, she makes it all about her, without any due concern for how it makes other people feel, without any regard for treading on Harry's toes. In each instance, she needs to make herself front and centre of everything that's going on, because that aids her in that control, drawing of fuel, and the residual benefits also. Thus, Invictus presented a huge opportunity for Harry's wife in light of so many other things having gone wrong this year, which I've reported on previously. And from her narcissist point of view, it was successful. She was prominent, she controlled people, she gained plenty of fuel, there was the opportunity for merching off the back of the fashion, more about that in due course, and naturally, there are many, many threats to her control as a consequence of the criticisms that have come, but she will bat those away in a normal, deluded fashion. This was all about ensuring that the Invictus Games in Dusseldorf were a platform for Harry's wife, and she took them over, as she invariably does. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.